Good morning, everybody. Go to your chat and say yes. Susan, thank you, Sabina. Yeah, thank you, Josephine. Oh, Josephine, you're there. Hi. Muturi, Juma, Dickens. Good. I see you. We are awake. Now, yesterday we went through quite a lot. Today, I honestly hope to release you early. I know you have a lot to do. I know it's a Friday, but Fridays are also the very best for learning. I have realized the mind is less congested. On Fridays, almost off work, and you're streaming into other things. So we will have a very interesting session, hoping to finish early. But let's go to the chat. Let's engage. What did you take away yesterday? Let's just do a revision, a bit of it. I want to see what you took away. I'm on the chat, so I want to see what at least 24 people took away. So I should see 24 items that you're able to take away yesterday. Just type in the chat. I hope you can hear me very well. So what you took away yesterday, just one thing, not many, one thing that you took away.
Good morning, Trainer Dickens again.
Yes, Dickens.
The key point which I took seriously is the responsibility of a mentor. Turning individuals and turning and relenting, and at the point where it's very positive for you to know how many are leaving and how many are getting. If you are mentoring and the result is not positive, instead those who are leaving is more than those who are getting in. The percentage is so worrying.
Yes, sure.
So, as a mentor, if you are mentoring some people and there is no positive compliment, it is very dangerous.
Very true.
And also the key point, the key point which also I take in is also when you give us the percentage that as a trainer or as a mentor or as a leader, do you know that 10% they read, 20% they hear, 30% they see, but which worried me most was that 90% will of what they say and what you do. So if what we say as the mentors and what you do as the mentors is the most valuable thing to those who are mentee.
Yes.
So those key areas is a challenge, and I think I will do something on them. Be blessed.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I see Betty. Let's hear your voice. You don't have to switch on your camera. Let's hear your voice. You say mentoring is a process. Betty, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay, it's a process because most people think mentoring is something just a one-day thing, but it's a process whereby you have to have a responsibility, and the mentee also has to have a responsibility on setting the objectives. You have to set goals together, and you should know what is ahead of you while you are doing this mentoring. So mentoring is not just something that you do it in one day. That is why I say it's a process. It's something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Josephine. Creating the culture of positivity. That's a good one. Tell us more, Josephine.
When we looked at the retention of mentees that we coach, what came to me is creating that culture of positivity, because when we see that 90% is what they see and do, then if I'm a mentor, I need to ensure that what I do that will affect the mentee or will affect the other staff, I really have to give it a consideration. I really have to deal with it to ensure that what I do, what I say, that people will see and want to do is something positive, something that will encourage team practice, and even creating that environment that even me as a mentor, somebody can say, hey, this area, I mean, give me feedback in essence, but this area you did so well. However, this area you can improve. So when you create that culture of positivity, there's that communication process that is so open communication, that is free flowing and very encouraging. And in an environment or in an organization where there is such culture of positivity, there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of development. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Chariot, treat mentees with fairness, be fair to everyone. Lack of trust kills relationships. Tell us more.
Well, thank you. I think this was within the context of observation. You said people observe you even when you're just doing other things, and it's important that you project a genuine approach to issues and people that is informed with fairness and lack of bias. Yes. Because that one and it's body language mainly. Yes. I think there are various ways of communication, and people are very observant. It's not just what you say, but what you do are very important.
Good, good, excellent. Francis, reverse mentoring exists too. Francis, are you there? Okay, we can go to Maxi. What not to do with your mentee? That's a good one. Maxi, tell us what not to do. I can't hear you if you're talking, Maxi or Francis. Okay, we can't get them. Anyone else? Violet, the role of a mentor in an organization. Araka? Or anyone that has put in their feedback. Feedback is key, Maxi again. Juma, not all mentees are on the same level. Anyone wants to comment? Okoth? We should address performance shortfalls and weaknesses with grace and respect. Susan says expectations of mentees. Sabina, a mentor should have respect for both parties and allow your mentee to freely express themselves. Yes, good. I think that tells me we learned. So we move to the next, so that in the interest of time today, I honestly hope we can release you in good time. The role of feedback in mentoring, and not just in mentoring, as I was thinking about this, feedback is important everywhere. When you go to your line manager, because we could also be having line managers, and they don't give you feedback, how does that make you feel? You know, you're looking at someone with anticipation and you're thinking, I brought information to you, I'm expecting feedback. It's the same thing. When a mentee, when you're talking to a mentee or you're coaching or you're in that mentoring process, feedback is important, because then people, you respond to feedback either with actions or corrections or whatever it is. So the role of feedback in mentoring and coaching, it's an essential part of any mentoring or coaching process. Now, review the mentoring process. It helps you review. When you give feedback, you're reviewing the process. You reinforce the strengths and improve the performance. Because when you're giving your feedback, you're giving your feedback on how far we are or how much we've achieved. What are the strengths that you've identified and what are the weak points that you've identified, so that you're able to seal those gaps. Now, it helps you review the work, analyze the problems, and compile questions and identify areas of support. Now, as we mentor others, remember you're stronger than that person. And I said that a mentor is a stronger person, is you're positioned in a higher role, and you have more strength, either professionally or in your experience. So you're literally supporting the person. It's not, I think I tell mentors, it's not good to keep reminding the person or pushing the person down like, I'm your boss, I'm the one helping you, I can decide to stop this. So it's not a place to threaten. I believe when you mentor people, you have an opportunity to leave a mark. You're leaving a legacy. You're actually duplicating yourself in that person. So if you see traits in that person after your mentorship and you see things that are not good, maybe sometimes you need to check on yourself, because they copy you, they listen, they do what you do. As we've been told, the 90%, the 70%, they copy what you do. So if you're doing something wrong and you see your mentee over time doing it the wrong way, then maybe you need to check yourself. They could be learning the wrong things from you. So it is also good for you to ask yourself questions and position yourself in a better place. Now, types of feedback. There are positive and negative approaches to giving feedback. Indirect, insensitive. You can give indirect feedback. There are people who I am one person that will give you direct feedback, absolute direct feedback. Of course, with grace, but I do it, including interviews. I am a HR professional that believe that if you didn't make it in an interview, I don't have to keep you waiting for 2 weeks, even if the advertisement said in 2 weeks. If I clearly know you didn't make it in that room, I don't allow you to leave. I will give you feedback and feedback with grace, and I will say you have performed so well in this one, but you have challenges, and the rest of the candidates that we have look stronger than you. However, we will keep you CV, or we can put you in this other department if we have another position and I've interviewed you for a higher one and we see clearly you're not a fit for that. Then I will offer you something else, or I will promise to keep your CV, and I will keep it and keep in touch with you. So it's good to give people feedback. And I think it helps because as I walk in, I'm expecting to pass. As I leave, there's no need for you to keep me anxious for 2 weeks. And you know too well, before I left the room, I wasn't going to make it for that job. So it's good to give feedback. But some people give indirect feedback. You've had people who will just comment as you pass, I know that's very common in the offices, and it's not a very good practice. Someone is giving feedback to you, but they say it in passing, or they say it to somebody else. There are others who are insensitive. Now, be very careful when you give your feedback. And we said, learn the mentee. People are different. Don't be insensitive in your feedback. Don't attack the person. Don't use words that crush the ego of a person. Don't crush the strengths of a person. You're the kind that can't be helped. Wewe ushiki. Some of those terms that we use on people. I've had people go for counseling and they refer to words that were spoken over them 20 years ago, because words have power. We just need to know that as a mentor, as a coach, words have a lot of power. So if you keep affirming a child, if you keep affirming a person, even when you see they're at their weakest, if you keep affirming that person, you can do it. I know you've tried, you failed, but I know you can do it. You can still make it. Try again, and you tell them, this is where the challenge is. Let's try it on this other side. But if you tell somebody, Anilijua tu, I just knew you can't make it. I don't even know why I was given you as my mentee. Those are things I hear people in offices say, somebody, my teacher said, and you will hear that a lot. And it's because when you're in a school, just like a mentee and a coach, when you're in school, your teacher was the highest person you knew. That's why children will say, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a policeman. I want to be the people that they see. So when a mentee is looking up to you, you are the highest. So whatever you say has a huge impact on them, positive or negative, it has a huge impact on them. So avoid insensitive feedback, avoid disrespectful feedback. Respect them, no matter their level or your level. Remember to respect them. Avoid impulsive and selfish feedback, just for yourself. There are people that are just themselves, full of themselves. You've heard that word, full of themselves. They are the only successful people. I know I am the only one that is able to do this. When you're raising me, when you're mentoring me, it's because you believe I can do that job. It doesn't have to be your role. It can be even a different role. But because you believe I can do it, then please give me the hopes to get there. Avoid very general feedback. I don't know, but leaders have to learn to be candid in giving feedback. I have seen leaders that are not able to give feedback, especially in negative feedback. Some leaders are not able to give it. And those who are able to give it, some of them don't give it with grace. So there has to be a balance. A leader has to be able to give feedback to people boldly, and even their friends. That's why you advised as a leader, you can't have a favorite. And you must mark the boundaries as a leader, so that if you have a team and you're leading a team and you need to correct them, you need to give them feedback, negative feedback, then the friendship and the bonds, that's why we were asking questions, is it your work to go for their parties? Because and I like the answer that was given, because you need to weigh what events you're going for. You can't be everywhere. Somebody has a birthday, they're drinking. Being a HR professional, I've handled incidences where leaders have gone for meetings with their teams, and those that do hard drinks, they do their thing and lose it, Now, remember, even when you go for events out and you have to enjoy yourself, please go with people of your level, so that if you lose it, you're losing it within a circle that understands you and they can stomach you and you don't impact them negatively. Now, if you go to drink with your juniors and you lose it and you're all over the place, you erode the respect that they have. The following day, they will be in the office looking at you and replaying the video of what you did. Then you're here telling them you need to behave. You need to be a good example. It doesn't work. So choose your environments, choose your parties, just know where you are as a leader. Leadership is not easy. It calls for sacrifice. It calls for you to tame yourself. It calls for you to choose your environments and choose your words. So as you sit here and you get people to mentor, remember what I said, they will look at you. You can have your fun, but choose where you're going and choose your company. Avoid feedback that attacks. And that's what I said yesterday. You never do this. You're lazy, you're like this, you're from this tribe, you don't, feedback that attacks a person. You see, when you're attacked, it's just like your body. When your body is attacked by any sickness, the first thing is that your body tries to defend. If you're attacked on the street, the first thing you do is you begin to defend yourself. So when you attack a mentee or a coachee, what you're doing is you're making them build a wall. Because every time they meet with you, they begin to think, I will get attacked. It's like if you get attacked in a certain spot, if you've ever been attacked or mugged in a certain spot, whenever you get there, the first instinct is be careful. Even before you get to that place, it says you're nearing the place where you got attacked. You're nearing the place where you were mugged. No, when you're having meetings with a mentee, the first thing they think is, I am going for a meeting with Esther. It is possible that she will attack me. It is possible that she'll be disrespectful. It is very possible that she'll be selfish and insensitive. So the person now builds a wall and comes to the meeting having a wall. So you will try to penetrate, you try to talk to the person, you would try to introduce a topic, you try icebreakers, it's not working. But it's because of the way you approach feedback, giving feedback. You know, you've seen people in a group, you're giving feedback and they just look at you and they're not talking to you. They've built a wall and in their minds they're saying, when you're done, we will go. You know, so you don't want that kind of a relationship because it messes the entire relationship. So again, poor timing. Yesterday I talked about giving feedback and correcting people. When you're giving feedback, just understand, get into the room before. There are times you go into a room and you want to give feedback to a person, but when you converse with them, when you talk and talk, you realize the person is not in the right state of mind for you to give that feedback. So you can always postpone that. You know, you can look at the state the person is in and postpone that. And you know when to give feedback. Depending on the weight, depending on the feedback, look at it and weigh the person, have a conversation. That's why you don't just get into a meeting. Even in normal meetings, you are leaders in this call. In normal meetings, when you're meeting your team members and you really want to give feedback, sometimes you're so angry and you want to give feedback. But then when you get into the room, as a leader, you need to read the mood of the room. I worked in a place where we had a practice for senior management. Whenever we would go for meetings, we would have a session to share. We used to call it a segue. A segue is we would share our lives as senior leaders with the heads of department, general managers, and the others. So when you get into a meeting, before you can start, do an icebreaker. Just have a segue where we would share best personal news, best professional news, and maybe any challenge or anything that you think team members can help you in. So people would even share, and people would come into the meeting and say, oh, my best person, including men, and I would hear men now have opened up and would say, my best personal news is that my wife is expecting. So you see, and professional news, I was able to achieve this. I've been trying to achieve this in my team. I've not been able to achieve. Somebody else will say, and what is frustrating me is that I have a project we've been trying to build with my family and the project stalled, but we are up again, or we are not yet there. So that builds a bond because people then are open to share their personal issues. But if there's that tension in a room, you cannot get information from people. So just know how to get into the lives of people, get to speaking about it. When your mentees hear you talk about yourself and they hear you are real. You see, sometimes we leaders, we live in our own world. The things we share are only successes. No leader has failures, you know. Of course, be careful what failures you share, as I said yesterday, but don't look like a god to them, you know. It is okay for you to go into the room and say, I want us to have a segue. I want us to share our achievements and our failures and what we are doing about them. And start off as a leader. When you say, you know, I tried this, I failed a number of times, then the mentee begins to see, oh, you mean there's a human being? You mean I'm not the only one failing? I have tried. And so there's a bond that you create. There's a lot that you can discuss around that. It's all in leadership. And I think it's important that leaders get sessions and sessions on leadership. Because when you're a mentor, when you're a coach, you're a leader. So you need to know how to break even. So don't be judgmental. It is also very wrong for leaders to get into to give feedback and you're judgmental. It is embarrassing when, as a leader, you go and you're judgmental and you're giving feedback to somebody. They look at you and they are silent, and until they open their mouth and tell you the truth, and it embarrasses you because you look like you're not informed as a leader. So just approach your sessions in a positive way. Know how to give your feedback. Now, let your feedback be helpful. Look at it. Don't be attacking. Think the feedback before you even come with your feedback to the room. Is your feedback going to help the process? Because you have your goals, you've set your goals. Is your feedback going to help this whole process? Is your feedback helping the person? Just wait, I keep saying, open it up, tear it, just check what is your motive, for this feedback. Are you angry? Is it driven by maybe what you've experienced in the night and you now want to go and vent it out? It's one of the worst things I've seen leaders do. When a leader loses their temper in front of their juniors, it's a shame. It really becomes a shameful thing. So as a leader, it's good to know how to walk away. It's good to know how to take walks. It's good to know how to keep off such meetings if you will come and expose yourself. So just make sure your feedback is helpful and be sensitive. Know what that can do, what you're going to tell the person, that feedback. Wait, sometimes when I have to do something, even when I have to send a message to a group, I'm very careful on what I write. I'm in very many groups, HR groups and different groups. Before I can post a message, even on my own social media pages, on my LinkedIn and other places, I type the message, I read it as Esther, and then I leave my seat as Esther. I move to the listener's side and begin to analyze the same message. And I say, what would somebody else think? What would Josephine, what will Esther or so and so think about it, So, just a minute. Yeah. So take the other seat, before you can take any feedback to somebody. Move to the other side of the mentee. Let's say if I was a mentee and this came to me, how would I feel? Would this be helpful? Would this be sensitive? Would they think I'm thoughtful, supportive, descriptive, considerate? Is this the right timing? Would I want this feedback? Some people end up giving others feedback when someone is bereaved or when someone has a sick person. That's why it's important when you get into a meeting and you want to give feedback, engage the person. So how are you? How is everything? How is home? Just that kind of a talk. And the person might even tell you, I just have a bad day today. I woke up and my kid is not feeling well. I am stressed. So is that really the right time to give the feedback? No, you can postpone that. So just know when you need to give that feedback. Let me just, yeah. So how to give feedback while mentoring as well. Key points that a mentor or coach should keep in mind in giving the feedback to mentees: be direct and specific. I've said that. Never get personal. I said that. Avoid bringing emotions into it. Avoid, because it is for you, you're the leader. They don't see you as Joseph. By the way, when you get to the office and you take the seat of a leader, they no longer see you as Joseph. They see you as the head of this. They see you as, the engineer. They see you as the head of this department. That's what they see. So you're a brand in yourself. So by the time you're giving that feedback, they will say, how can Esther, a whole head of HR, you see, you carry so many, and a whole mother, or something, really, you carry so many titles and there's a weight behind you. So whatever you're doing, if you're getting personal with someone, they would think, how could she do that? And I've seen leaders and people get into a meeting and really get personal with someone. And you're thinking, this now is not professional. This one has moved from professional to personal. So never get personal. Develop an action plan from information gathered. So that will help you because you're not addressing my personal issues. You are actually focusing your feedback on the plan and the things that the information that you've gathered. Now encourage the mentee to talk as well. Don't just go and parrot and parrot and parrot and parrot and parrot and leave the room. That's not communication. Communication is two-way. So encourage the mentee to also give you feedback. And sometimes the mentee will tell you, will disagree with what you say, and it's fine. You can't be right throughout. That's something you need to understand. You can't be right throughout. So the same way you're giving them feedback and you expect them to take the feedback positively, please take their feedback positively. Don't defend as well. You don't expect them to defend themselves. Do not also be defensive. Just listen to what they have to tell you. If they correct you, and with respect, of course, take it positively because there's reverse mentorship. You know, someone will say, no, but Esther, on this one, I beg to disagree, and listen, don't build a wall. Leaders don't like being challenged, especially by juniors. We are there saying, no, how can she tell me that? How can she be the one telling me that this can't work? I am the leader, I'm the mentor. No. Just listen. They have something to say. They might know that area better than you. So just listen to them. The roles of a mentor or coach, the mentor or coach is a planner, is an expert, is an instructor, you're a facilitator, you're a resource person, you're a role model, and you're a co-learner. You're a planner, you're an expert, you're an instructor, a facilitator, a resource person, a role model, and a co-learner. Now, as a planner, you design the mentoring process. Remember, as I say, have those conversations, be a friend to the mentee, but don't lose your leadership seat. Don't surrender your leadership seat. As I said, be firm, but friendly. That people know, if I go to Esther with this, she will smile. I worked in a place where a certain gentleman would keep saying, this Esther, she will terminate you when she's still smiling. So if you see her smiling in a disciplinary hearing, just know you're gone. Because you don't have to be rough. You don't have to destroy relationships even at the point of separation. So remember to take your leadership role as a planner. Be the person that is leading. You are on the wheel. You are the one helping to plan. The mentee doesn't know the way. You are the one who knows the way. So you need to plan. The same way if you're the driver, you will say, we are going to use this route. If you take a cab, sometimes they tell you, no, let us try and use this route. This one has traffic jam, or this one is not safe, or this one is, you're the planner, you're the one on the wheel. So design the mentoring process yourself. Don't tell them to design it. They came to you for help. You're the expert. You help to transmit knowledge, knowledgeable information. You are the expert. They come to you because they need your help. They come to you because you know something they don't know, or you've walked a journey they've not walked before. So they are coming for tips, they're coming for lessons, they're coming for hand-holding, they're coming for you to make them who you are. It means, actually, if you've been chosen in this role as a mentor and coach for KBC, it means there's something they have seen in you that you can transfer to other people. So to start with, it is such an honor by your employer to be in this seat and to be in this training, that they have spotted a certain gift in you, they've spotted leadership in you, they've spotted potential in you, and they have seen that you care and you're able to raise others. So as you transmit the knowledge and information as a mentor, remember to do it and do it perfectly, all for the interest of the organization. So as a mentor, you are the instructor. Now, you direct the learning situation. It is you that directs, it is not, the mentee can be a very talkative person. You could be a very different personality. The mentee can be all over the place. But remember, it is you that directs the learning situation. It is you that shows the way. It is you that guides. It is possible for you to say no and say it with grace. And it is possible for you to also calm down a team that you're mentoring with grace and tell them, no, we will go this other side. Sometimes they want to go in an opposite direction, but it is for you as an instructor to say, no, our plan was that we are going to use this exit, and it is the same one we are going to use. It doesn't matter the risks, but we will take this route. So sometimes mentees want to use shortcuts to get somewhere, but as the instructor, you continue taking the lead. You're the facilitator. You help the mentee reach an agreed endpoint or goal and helps learning and development to take place. So you continue leading them. You're the resource person. This helps to provide relevant information, protocols, materials, manuals, and experience information. So I know I heard your leader say there will be the policy and other documentation that you be given for this. So you're the resource person. When you get the mentees, remember they will come with so much expectation, so you better have what they're expecting. Some of them may be a different type. They will challenge you, like you challenged teachers in class in years, or you're still in school. Learning is continuous. They will challenge you, but you need to have the relevant information, and you need to have your materials, your manuals, and the experience information at hand. So prepare yourself as a mentee, as a mentor. Prepare yourself as a coach with the right information, so that again, it doesn't get you off, it's that confidence. The mentees will begin to question if every time they come to you, you start saying, I will go and research. I will go and research. Don't go for sessions unprepared. It can put you in a very bad place. Don't go for sessions unprepared. So get the right material. It is okay. You can't have 100% information. I say it is okay. I am a legal person, and when you see lawyers in court just speaking the law like they chew it every day and night, they prepare in the night. They prepare. So if you're going for a mentorship session, kindly prepare. You're the resource person. They're expecting to draw from you. So if you're empty, it's like going to draw water from a pot that is empty. If you're empty, you'll have nothing to give. And at this point, I think it's important for me to say, invest in yourself as well. I know the organization is going to invest in you, but invest in yourself. Buy books on mentoring others. Buy books on leadership. Buy books on culture and all that. Buy books that will help you be a better mentor, because you're not going to just be a mentor in your workplace. Eventually, you will mentor people, and maybe you're mentoring other people outside work, but you didn't know how to structure that. But invest in yourself. You can only give what you have. If you don't have it, you won't give it. So invest in yourself. I know books are expensive, but build your own library as well on leadership. Take time to read a book. Walk with a book. I make it a habit to have a book in my bag every time I'm going somewhere. I could go and I'm going to meet someone, and it takes me 1 hour. The person, oh, you can wait for this person for another 1 hour. What will you be doing for that 1 hour? Pull out the book in your bag and read, and put a book in your car or wherever it is, just so that every time you have an opportunity, you're not just staring, I remember someone who said some people graduate when others are on traffic jam or queues. When you're in town, you can queue for 2 hours or 3 hours waiting for a matatu if you use matatus. Somebody else has decided, instead of wasting time on that queue, I will enroll for a course. So one is queuing, another one is in class. The one that leaves class at 8 finds this other one who came to the queue at 6, still queuing, waiting for a matatu. Or someone has earphones in the car or in the matatu, they are in class now that is online class. Another one is on earphones, listening to music and watching some funny things. Now, The choice is yours. So invest in yourself so that as a resource person, you're able to give. Now, when you continue to empty yourself, you must know how to refill yourself as a mentor. Now, role model, I think I've talked about this enough. As a role model acts to influence the behavior and values of the mentee. So it is possible that you can influence them in the wrong direction. True? So you must know which direction you're taking the mentees. Are you influencing them in the right direction? And what are your values? Because I would really even want to go to the chat. Let me engage you on the chat once again. At least post one of your values, not for the organization. Number one, your personal values. One value that is a non-negotiable. One value for you as a person, that is a non-negotiable. I want to see that on the chat because this is very key. It actually defines the role model you become. Let's go to the chat. I'm here and I'm not seeing anyone writing. What is that one value that is a non-negotiable? For me, I will say it openly, integrity for me is a non-negotiable. If something has no integrity, I'm out. It doesn't matter how much it pays. It doesn't matter how much fame it gives. If it has no integrity, I'm out. So what is that value in you? Honesty, respect. I like this. Reachable, I like that. Transparency, principled. So you see, this is what you eventually transfer. Fairness, legal, professionalism. I love that. And I like, let's keep them coming. So as a role model, there are those values that you have as a person. You must understand your, because I can imagine a mentee just stands up and says, excuse me, so-and-so, Dickens. So what are your values? What drives you? What are your non-negotiables? And then that's when you're thinking, because your values, it's like a culture. An organizational culture is based on the values of the organization. Because if an organization, what are the values for KBC? Let me first find out before I go on with this conversation, because Lois respected. What are the values for KBC? Does anyone know them? Because as leaders, there are things that there are things that professionalism. That's for Josephine. If I have to do it, quality service, is that for KBC? What are the values? Because as leaders, you need to know the values for the organization. Teamwork, innovative. So true, and just go and check through the values, because when top leaders sit and or when the organization sits and sets values, what they're simply saying is, this is our culture. If you're customer focused and that is one of your values, then the culture within an organization has to be centered around the values. We are honest. So then whatever you do has to be very honest. You know, if you're professional, it has to be professional. So as an individual, what are your values? You must really have values. If you don't have, please go look for them or pray and get your values. But you need to have your values, because people know you for something else. If you don't define who you are, people will define you. You know? So if you can't define who you are, we will define you. So people know that Dickens is no nonsense. You know, that's how people just define you anyhow. So it is for you to define yourself. Who is Esther? What are you known for? Do people know that integrity for you is key? You know, for me, it is integrity, impact. You know, if it's not having a positive impact, it is not worth my energy. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my investment. You know, So integrity, excellence, and impact. For me, those are key. Those three, if it doesn't have that, then I better not do it. So you need to define, and don't have 1,000 values. You can have 2 or 3 so that you're able to work around them. So that defines you, and that's what you pass on to the others. So you're a core learner. The mentor acts as a core learner and learns alongside the mentee with each mentoring interaction. So be open to learning as a mentor, as a coach. You don't just go with the mindset that I am going to teach them. It is me who knows it all. Don't go with that mind of a know-it-all. It will hinder your learning as well. So go knowing that you can also learn. Come out with something and have an open mind so that by the end of the session, you say, I have also learned this. And it feels very good for a mentee. So, you know, you mean I have something that I can teach, you know, my leaders, you know, I have something to offer. And which is true, because if you sit in a place, I do a lot of trainings. And when I've emptied myself like now, today and yesterday, the next thing I want sometimes is to go and sit somewhere and listen. You also avoid that invitation all over to train without having to refill yourself. So it is okay to go and sit and listen to even those you call your juniors. They have so much to offer. Sometimes we just don't give them the opportunity to teach us. So when you're mentoring people or you're coaching someone, be open to learning. Also come out with something so that you're not just emptying yourself and you blocked yourself that you know everything and they don't know anything. So did you know that surveys show that employees who have been guided by a mentor climb up the corporate ladder more quickly? That is the truth. People who have been guided by a mentor go up because they're receptive, you know, and you show them the way. You've been there. You know, there's something about corporate ladder, going up the ladder. You might have gone up in a very tough way. You fought your way, or you really strained to get up there. But when you're mentoring someone, it is very easy for you to say, no, don't use this route. This one I tried, it's dangerous. You know, don't go that route. Let's use this other one. So that person will go up so fast because for them, it's almost seamless. Somebody else has made mistakes before and they are hand-holding me and making sure that I don't have to waste 5 years making the same mistake. So they help me up so fast. A study shows that 75% professionals say that mentoring has played a key role in their careers, and mentors have also helped to achieve higher job satisfaction, productivity, and retention. And I think we talked about that. When you're mentored or when you have you've mentored people, those people are comfortable. They don't make the mistakes that you made. Some of us made very big mistakes in our careers, but someone else who holds your hand. The people that are going to be attached to you will not make the mistakes you made because you were there. You made the mistake and you'll be quick to say, no, this is not the way. This is how we work as a team. This is how we do it. This is what you need to do to get here, or you need to study this course to get here faster. But you might have made mistakes of doing very many courses trying to find yourself. So this time around for your mentee is very easy. You just say, no, this course that you're doing, you want to do may not align with where you're going. Now, this role that you want to take would demand that you do this and this and this course. So you save them a lot of time. You save them a lot of frustration because they would be frustrated. I've seen people who are so frustrated with so many papers. They are aiming but at getting something, but they are doing the wrong thing to get there. So just this one, which of the following is not a role of the mentor or coach while mentoring and passing on the learning to the mentee? Instructor, role model, facilitator, manager. Someone on the call. Dickens, unmute.
Yes.
Okay, good. I can hear you. Continue. You're on mute, I think so.
Okay. Are you getting me clear now?
Yes, can hear you.
Which of the following is not a role of the mentor or coach while mentoring and passing the learning to the mentee? The answer I can give that I can be a manager. If a manager, it means that I'll be now believing myself and having negative qualities which might not go well with the trainee. So a manager is a wrong answer. Instructor, role model, and facilitator is the best answer. Yes.
Good. A manager is not the role of a mentor, coach while mentoring and passing. And I think we've done that. So mentoring different personalities. Want us to go to this one. We have different people. Actually, if you look around your teams, you look around your organization, you have very different people. There are those that are just energetic. There are those that just are quiet. There are those that, very different people. If I was to ask you to define the people in your teams, it will take a whole day here. You can analyze each person for 1 hour, So you might be given teams to mentor. I see someone here with the camera on, and we will all keep watching what's happening. Who is this? Betty, kindly put off your camera. Betty, someone just tell her to switch off her camera. So mentoring different personalities, they are different people, even in your own home. You're so different. Even you as siblings, if you have brothers and sisters, you are just different person. If you have kids, they have different personalities. They're the same people that come from homes and come to your workplace. You're siblings, but you all go to different places every day. So you will find these people in the office. Now, how to mentor mediocre people? Understand their limitations, avoid conflicts, because it is very easy to get into conflict with such people. Open communication channel, give feedback as always, respect them for who they are, give positive feedback and bring the best out of them. And I think the last one is very key. Bring the best out of them. Always try to pull people from, if that's their personality and that's how they think, try to bring the best out of them. Because when you say, if you pull the best out of a person, it is what keeps flashing and playing on their face. You mean I could do this? Did they just say that I gave the best answer in that meeting? Did they just say this? Did my mentor just call and congratulate me for this? Or did my mentor buy me coffee for the ideas that I gave? You tend to you bring people out of their comfort zones when you keep challenging them, when you give them feedback, when you give, and especially positive feedback. It is good to give negative feedback. Give it with grace. I'll keep repeating that so that you don't hurt people. But try to bring out the best in them. Dig it from wherever it is, because such a person now, it's far. There are people that you will really need to bring out the best. You will need to work harder for some people to bring out their best. And sometimes it's because of what they've gone through. It's what they've been exposed to, or people they've lived with that believe that mediocrity works anyway. It's just being done. It has just to be done. It's okay. Let's just do it and move on. There are people who believe in that. There are others who believe in excellence. When I saw someone here say that if it's not excellent, if it's not professional, if it's not legal, they won't be part of it. Those are their values. There are people whose values are just, let's just get to it. Let's get it done. It's fine. I was reading a certain book, and a boss, one time they were testing performance of employees and how much employees can stretch. And so the team leader decided to pick one guy. He picked one person. Let's say we pick Dickens now that he's our class rep here for today. On a light note, Dickens. And we tell Dickens, this is who you're going to be. We have 3 teams. So in team 1, just go and be lazy, you know, because you influence people a lot. Go to that team and be lazy. Tell them that assignment doesn't have to be done anyway. It can be done next week. Go to the other second team and tell them, let's just do it just for the sake of doing it. And the same Dickens will go to the third team and say, we must do it in excellence. I mean, we are the best people ever. We do it and believe it. So this person, this is one person who was told to go into a team and just inject negative energy. And when he went to the team, he injected negative energy, nothing was done. The same Dickens was picked to go to the other one and just lazy. Let's just do this assignment, you know. We don't have to finish it in either way, do it for the sake. They're just pushing us. Then go to the last one and tell them we need to do it with excellence. It has to be professional. It has to be within the values that you shared. It has to have integrity. It has to be legal. It has to be very nice, excellent. And that's what he did. He went to the teams. And then now when it came to the time to present the assignment, team 1 had not done it. Anyway, it was not important. Team 2 did it, but just did it for the sake. Team 3 was so excellent. So you can see how much what people can do. You see what team energies can do. You can have mediocre people. You can have excellent people. You can have others who just do things for the sake of it. So when you're mentoring as well, you have people with different personalities. They will bring in different energies. Someone just asked Betty to switch off the camera. You can call her, please. So people have, thank you. People have different personalities. There's someone who will just be there for the sake. There's a mediocre person. There's another one who is so hyper. So when you're mentoring them, just understand who you're dealing with. Now, how to mentor difficult people? There are people who are just difficult. I don't know whether these people, but I think these people are not in KBC. They must be working in other organizations, right? These difficult ones don't work for you people. Hey. Who is near Betty? No, this is Warui. Let me see if I have any. Someone ask. Let's put our cameras off. I'm seeing Warui O'Brien enjoying the coffee. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. So how to mentor difficult people? I don't know. I said I don't think they exist in your organization, but just in case you find them where they exist, there are people who are difficult. There are people you've also branded and you know this one is difficult. If I am going to deal with this one, and maybe there are people you're praying that they're not in your team to mentor, you know, you're like, mimi wasinipatia nani kwa timu yangu, hiyo atakuwa shida. But there are ways you can mentor these difficult people, you know, something has made them this difficult and you might be the person that is able to mentor them. So engage them in a conversation. The difficult people just want attention. They want to be engaged in a conversation. You'll be surprised. Sometimes we've branded people, but we've not been able to interact with them and see and get to the roots. Why are they who they are? Why do they behave the way they behave? So if you're mentoring a difficult person, just make sure you engage them in the conversation. You know, don't give them the opportunity to be difficult or to make your life hard. Engage them. And that's why in schools, you discover that teachers knew the trick. Teachers would make the notorious people prefects. That was the easiest way to tame them and tame their energies, you know. So if you have difficult people in your team, just engage them, celebrate their accomplishments. Difficult people, sorry for that, difficult people want to be celebrated. When you do that, they are able to at least you're able to break even. Then use constructive confrontation Give me a minute, kindly. I think that's okay. Use constructive confrontation with them. Give them the feedback that is constructive. It is okay to correct them. It is okay to try and really move them from that difficult position to a team player. Respect them, be diplomatic, use good judgment, remain level-headed and strong. Because, let me just manage this thing. Just sorry for that. There's some of my difficult people as well, I think so. So remain level-headed and strong. You see, when you have to manage difficult people, they can drain your energy. Let's be honest. They can drain your energy in a team. If you're not careful, they can actually convert the rest of the team to be difficult, and your mentoring process will be a tough one. It will be a difficult one. So as a leader, remain level-headed and strong. It doesn't mean fight, but you must, I said, you must remain in that leadership seat. Whatever it takes, you need to know how to tame them. You need to know how to manage them. You need to know how to deal with them, but be diplomatic so that you're not in a fighting mode, and use good judgment for that. Go to how to mentor now brilliant people. These ones can also be a challenge. You think difficult people are a challenge? Or you think mediocre people are a challenge? Brilliant people can also be a big challenge for you, because they will keep posing questions. They will keep asking. They look like they're challenging you, but they are not. They're just speaking out their minds. So tap on belief, efficiency, effectiveness, and results for them. Tap on their energy, enthusiasm, and drive. So just make good use of their energy, their enthusiasm, their drive, because they also bring life and bring solutions to the meeting and to the platform. Then display similar traits as well. You have to, that's why I said you have to invest in yourself, and you have to be able to read. So that, you see, we say good readers lead. You'll be able to read your books and be able to be a good leader. Now, by communication, encourage out-of-the-box thinking. Now, brilliant people want challenging opportunities. They want to think out of the box. They want opportunities where they can give you solutions, understand what makes them tick. You need to understand what makes a brilliant person stay alert. Because for them, their mind moves super fast. Their brain moves super fast. So you need to understand what makes them tick. You need to understand what matters to them, what keeps them on their toes, what keeps them active, what keeps them contributing in a team. So because they can easily get bored. You can imagine if you have a mediocre person, you have a difficult one, and you have a brilliant one in the same team. It can get very messy, but you as a leader need to understand what makes everybody, this person tick, the brilliant one. Tap on the need for upgrading, cater for demands, and avoid routine and mundane things. Now, brilliant people hate routine. When you tell them, you see, there are people who are okay with moving a cup from point A to point B, Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday. A brilliant person doesn't take that. They will not take that. They will move it the first day, the second day, the next thing, they're out of that. They switch off and begin to do something else. So you need to know how to keep them active. You need to know how to tap on their energy and drive. So just know how to do that. Handling defensive mentees. We talked about people being defensive. Now recognize that defensive behavior is normal. And I said that it's very normal, even for ourselves as leaders, as we sit in this meeting, we are defensive. There's a place where you get defensive. And it's very normal for that. Never attack a person's defenses. It's good to understand where they're coming from, why and what has brought them to that position. Empathize and understand human limitations and understand the need to postpone action. So that when people are defensive, as I said, when you get into a meeting and see there's a wall, there's no information that will penetrate. They will not be able to communicate, at that point when people are very defensive. So here we are, how to mentor people for growth, assessment of key positions. There's some key considerations to keep in mind when mentoring someone for career growth. Assess the key positions, identification of key skills, assessment of mentees' key skills, generation of development plans, development and monitoring and review. So when it comes to how to mentor them for growth, on assessment of key positions, now identify the key positions likely to come up. And I think we discussed this yesterday when we said, as a leader and as a person mentoring, before you even start the mentorship, I think it will also be important for you as a team. I see to be a 39 as a team in KBC, go through the organizational structure. Just make sure that you all understand where this organization is right now, understand where the organization is going, understand the roles that could possibly come up due to retirement, designations, promotions, or transfers, so that as you mentor people, you're mentoring people in the right direction. What are the competencies and experiences needed by the mentee to qualify for each key position? And I as I say that you need to understand these positions and the structures. I want to believe that you get briefs and you get informed on where the business is going. And even if it's 5-10 years to come, this is what we envision to be. So you're preparing people for positions that you know will exist in the organization. So also the competencies and experiences that are needed, assessment of those positions, know that this position will come up, maybe a tech position or something, and these are the competencies that will be needed. So when you're developing and you're advising your mentee to take courses and to maybe upgrade themselves, you are focusing on the right things so that you don't mislead them and they end up doing things that may not help them. Now, identification of key skills, identify the key skills that are required by the mentee to grow and reach higher management positions, that we've said. Identify the skills that are required by the management's assessment of their performance and the potential. So the skills that they need when it comes to the performance assessment, what is that? What are the key skills that will be required? Does the person need even communication skills? Does the person need tech or whatever? Does the person need decision-making skills? Does the person need maybe counseling skills or something else, So think around that so that when you're developing them and advising them, you're moving in the right direction. Then assessment of mentees' skills. I think this is more as well the same thing we're saying, that for each person undergoing the mentoring, primary development needs identified, focusing on what they need in order to be ready for the next level. The mentor should provide the list of potential skills. It is good for you to list down for a mentee and say, these are the potential skills that you need to move into the next level, because there's a gap that person is going to come and fill. You're envisioning that, like retirement, to be honest, it is well known that so-and-so will be retiring. So it's actually preparation for succession planning, which is good, very good. So that also, if I'm retiring today, I wouldn't want what I have built what I have done for years, especially if you worked in an organization for 20 years. I wouldn't want that to go into the hands of an incompetent person. So if you're mentoring someone to take your role, then you need to make sure that they do not come and crumble what you worked so hard for. So when you're mentoring people, just make sure you're raising leaders, you're raising people that are committed and that will be there to also go on with what you have started. Now, generation of development plans, I think we talked about this, providing training and development to mentees under guidance of the mentor who is going to develop him to grow. I think we talked about that. There has to be a development plan. So you're moving from point A to this, you're going to move from this, because sometimes you're mentoring me for a job that is maybe 2 levels higher. So there has to be growth and it has to be monitored. And as I move up, you need to keep moving with me. You need to keep giving me and advising me on what skills and what trainings and what even seminars and conferences to go to. You might need to also attach me to people. Sometimes you attach someone to a person that is higher or will challenge them. I have mentored people, and I've also brought in a friend or a colleague that I know is good in something. You may not be perfect in everything as well. Nobody is perfect. So it is okay for you to also expose your mentees to other people, not just yourself. When you're going for other meetings, expose them, let them begin to see. And that's when mentees begin to say, you mean this job is not this easy? You mean when they go for conferences, you know, people think that when leaders go for conferences, it is always just fun. When they go for meetings, I saw a person one time who was going to take over a role of a head of a department, joined one of the management meetings. And that was the last meeting they joined. Actually, they joined the meeting once. It was so hot. It was so tough. They couldn't take the heat in the meetings. They never came back. So sometimes people think the leadership positions are really just fun and a lot of money and benefits until they get into that seat or even go into a meeting and wonder, how do you guys manage this kind of a thing, you know? So the person came into a meeting and it was hot, it was heated, and her boss was put on the spot, and so many things were not going well. And the person said, if this is what you go through in these meetings, we are sorry, we didn't know. So it is good also to prepare the person. It could be in terms of skills and career and everything. Okoth, your hand is raised.
Yes, kindly allow for 5 minutes health break. Then we come back.
You can stretch.
Okay. Yes.
That's fine, but the session is recorded.
Without disconnecting.
It's okay, it's recorded. So 2 minutes. Let me give 2 because we are recording. So it's important that, but today I'm almost done actually. Today we'll go earlier than before.
Okay.
Yes, so 2 minutes. But in those 2 minutes, let's engage. For those that will remain, let's just keep doing a recap so that there's no gap there. So let me check on this chat. Oh, sorry, I hadn't seen that, of course, on the message, but I've seen it now. Switched my phone. My video is off. That's okay, Betty. Betty, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. It is okay. And you're a good leader. Leaders know how to apologize. Congratulations. So tell me what you have learned as we wait for the rest to come back this far. Or you also want to take a break?
May I ask a question?
Yes, do.
Yeah, I basically wanted to find out. And first of all, thank you very much for organizing this session. And of course, picking some of us to be part of this process. I wanted to find out, how do you draw the line, or where do you draw the line between a difficult mentee and a mentee who is completely disinterested or not willing to be mentored?
You know, difficult people are people that don't want to take feedback. They don't want information. They just make your life difficult in a meeting. Have you been, Warui, have you been into a meeting where everybody else agrees on what you're saying except one person? They just seem to disagree. They are always on the fighting end. They don't think you know what you're saying, or they think they are the best. They are the ones that know everything. You've seen those people in the organization, or they don't exist in KBC, maybe.
Well, we have such people, you know, all over the world, you know, not just in KBC, but you have people who believe that their opinion should carry the day all the time.
Yes, or they even challenge the leader, and the leader knows, you know, people who just make your life difficult. You know, you want to move in this direction. It is for the best interest of the organization. Everybody else is for it.
So why should you spend your time trying to be a mentee to such a person who you know they are going to give you help?
Let me tell you something, that some of the most difficult people could be the most productive people. Have you seen that? They're talented. Some of those talented people and gifted people are a bit difficult, right? It sometimes comes from their upbringing or their approach to life, or maybe things that they're going through. That's why it's good for you, as we said, to think about them, try and engage them, because in that process, you get to understand why people are difficult, why maybe they've gone through a phase in life that has made them difficult or that has toughened them, you know. So they come into social circles very defensive and like they want to protect their space. So we can't rule them out. We just can't throw them out. We can't trash them. What we do is that we try to bring them together. You'll be shocked. Maybe someone else considers you difficult, Warui. You know, that's very interesting, because someone else might be saying, did Warui ask that question? I thought he was a difficult person. Sometimes it's perceptions that we have. You know, people could have branded you. That's why I said brand yourself. Otherwise, people will brand you. But I am always of the opinion that somebody did not give up on me. That's why I am where I am, isn't it? I wasn't the best. Yeah, so don't give up on people. Show them the benefits of what you're doing. It works. It's just being humane with people. It's just giving them the space and giving them the opportunity and listening to them. So most of these difficult people have not had someone to listen to them. You know, and you know, there are people who cover up their experiences by being difficult. They have either been abused or something, so they have learned to fight for their lives. They've learned. We were having a conversation before I think we began. I think and the conversation was it Joseph? The conversation was, I think we were colonized and we tend to be very rough even to ourselves and our colleagues. So sometimes it's experiences that we've gone through, or even what you've had. And you're thinking, someone says, if you're working with Warui, he's very difficult. You better be difficult as well, you know, or if you go to work in this place. So don't give up on people. I think it will be such a good report for you and success for you to change a difficult person to a team player and a productive person, isn't it? Somebody didn't give up on you, Warui, you know? Maybe if you go backwards and ask them how you are, someone will say you are the most difficult person, but look at where you are. So don't give up on them. Mentor them. That is why you are the mentor. That's why you are higher. That's why you are the planner. You are the resource person. You are in a better position to change them because you can actually see it. And some people are difficult and they don't even know they're difficult. So you're in a better position because you can see who they are and you know how to approach it and transform them to a better person. You will feel very good eventually looking at Esther and saying, this one was the worst person. I didn't want this person in my team, but look at what she's turned out to be. That's why you're in this team, to convert those difficult ones to resourceful people and mentors to others, you know, and they will also say, I was the worst. I was so difficult. I was always on the defensive side. I was fighting the system, but now I am fighting people to get into the system, and I'm promoting this, you know. There are people who fight the system. When you introduce a policy, they fight. When you introduce a program, they fight it. When you propose something in a team, they fight it, you know. So eventually what you do, like the teachers, I told you, involve them. Give them an assignment. Let them be the ones presenting.
Madam Katiba, you see, when you go through Dale Carnegie's teachings on change management,
yes,
he says that human beings are difficult in nature. And
yes,
human beings do not like change. And human beings, they like to thrive in their own comfort zones. So then the other question comes, so how do you break people's comfort zones without, number one, offending them, and without sounding or even looking intrusive? How do you achieve that?
You see, I keep saying the easiest way so that you don't look like you're being personal, operate within the structure of mentoring. And that's why we said have a structure, have a plan. Just like an organization, if you have to correct me in an organization, the only time I will feel you're not personal is when you refer to a policy, okay? So if an organization does not have policies, processes, systems, then you will have a very difficult time, because people will always lean to a personal side, you know, like you don't like me, isn't it? You're coming into my space. But if you see, that's why mentorship and coaching is structured. You need to structure so that you're not going into my personal space. It has nothing to do with me. It's absolutely the organization, right? We are preparing you for this role. And maybe in the next slides, you will see how you select people to mentor. Because you also don't want to invest in people that are very new in the organization, or people that are not even committed to the organization, which is in our next slides, right? Because by the time you choose people to be mentored, it's not everybody that you're picking. You can't go and pick someone who is 2 months old in an organization and say you're going to mentor. You don't know that person very well. So there needs to be that commitment. The person needs to have shown the interest, so that then you're not just picking people that make your work very hard, because it's going to be another full-time job for mentors and, you know, to try and fight, and you create some wars. Let's just go on. Maybe you'll be answered as we go. I think the break is you're back, the team that left. I hope they're back.
Yes.
Or maybe they even never left.
It's also good to put to stretch, by the way. It's also good to just stretch around there, as long as your cameras are off. It's good to stretch. So maybe we move into the next one. And it's the same development, how to mentor for growth development, mentoring and review. An annual or semi-annual. I said yesterday, you can choose how you want to review the progress for this. There are people that, if you have a big team, weekly is going to be too much for you, to be honest. It might be too much for you, and they might not even have achieved what you've given. When you give assignments, because it's a process, when you send them to do something, or you're doing some projects, weekly might not be very ideal. unless maybe the informal one. How are you going? How is this going? And this and this. But weekly becomes a bit too demanding for you. Maybe monthly you can do that. But planning the main ones, you need to know how to go about it. Mentees would be placed at a right job as and when the position opens. So that's really the final one that you want to do. You want to position them in the right jobs. You want to give them at least success to you as a mentor is getting them to the place you were taking. It's like a driver. If you get to the destination safe, then you have succeeded. Which of the following is not a key consideration to keep in mind while mentoring someone for career growth? This time, who do I choose? Where's Betty? Betty, are you there? Or someone, let's get someone, not Warui, not Dickens. I want to be sure the others are with us as well, not Okoth. At least Okoth I know is. Who else? We are 41. Who can answer this? Which of the following is not a key consideration to keep in mind while mentoring someone for career growth? There's identification of key skills, assessment of mentors, key skills, generation of development plans and development, monitoring and review. Let me help you so that assessment of the mentor, that's a mentor, it's not mentee. If you look at that, it is not mentee. So you don't, it's not part of the bit of assessing the mentor. Are we together? Let me now go back to the chat so that you have not left me talking to myself. Let me have someone type, everybody type present. The word present. Yeah, good morning. Mwanga, yes, present. Yeah, so that you know I'm not talking to myself. I need to be sure we are back. Yeah, Nico, good. Perfect. Now that encourages me. At least a good number is there. So factors to consider for growth planning. Mentors should consider the following factors while planning for career growth of their mentees and choosing the right growth path. Now, the age of the candidate, the length of service, past performance of the candidate. I think this will answer you, Warui. Duties and responsibilities and qualification. Now, when we talk about the age of the candidate is a crucial factor to be, I think someone needs to mute. Just make sure you're muted, kindly. Or is it Warui? Kindly mute, I think so. The age of the candidate is a crucial factor to be considered while shortlisting for growth planning. Now, this section will answer you. For growth planning, as the age of the candidate should be such that he can hold the position for a long time. Now, remember that KBC is investing in you as mentors and coaches, and you will invest in the mentees. So as you choose a mentee, you need to choose people that will hold that position longer, so that it's not a person that is retiring tomorrow that you're mentoring. A person that is retiring next year should not be in your list of mentees, because it means then you will have invested in a person that goes out with the knowledge and is not able to bring it back into the organization. The reason you're here is that you're equipped and that you pick people that will also be in the organization for a longer time. The length of service of the candidate should be at least 4 years and above. It is beneficial to not consider candidates with less than 6 months of service in the organization for growth. Now, 6 months thinking around probation and the rest. So you need to be sure that this person understands and has committed themselves to be in this organization. And they have shown that they are going to be in this organization, because you can tell. You as leaders, you know too well. There are times you sit as a leader and say, this one is passing by, In 6 months, you don't know. You really don't even know the performance of the person. You don't know who they are really. You don't know whether they are settled or not. But a person that has been in an organization for 4 years, it is important. And from a HR perspective, people will stay in an organization 4 years, and if they see no growth, then most of them will start leaving. So when you begin to invest in them and show them that we are watching you, we have seen your performance, we've seen your commitment, and we are also committed to making sure that you're here longer and that you're also giving back to this organization, then we want to invest in you. We want to make sure that you grow in the organization. So that's a person that has shown commitment and is also expecting commitment on your end, that there's growth. Because people leave organizations for different reasons. They leave because there's no growth. They leave because of toxicity. They leave because they're disengaged. So if the organization also doesn't show commitment, like I am showing commitment, then a person will leave. So you need to tap those people and just get hold of them and make sure that they know that the organization is also committed. Hence, this project now. The tenure of service in the organization is important as it helps the employee to understand the culture of the organization and also proves their loyalty to the organization. So within 4 years, that person understands, they know, Rini, they understand, and they will tell you, in this place, this is what we do. You see, it's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. I think let's not go into culture. We can talk about culture of an organization forever. Maybe we'll have a different conversation. But that person that has stayed for 4 years understands the systems, understands the organization. So even if you mentor them, you know, you are not starting from scratch. It's a person that you have watched. They know how things are done, but then you now want to help them build them into leaders. You want to fine-tune their skills. You want to guide them better for the next level. Past performance of the candidate, I definitely would not expect that a poor performer would be in your list of people to be mentored. It is important to check past performances and track record of the employee before choosing for growth, because then if a poor performer would actually be handpicked for trainings and maybe to just help them move or even deliver better results. But someone that you want to take up into a role or promote them, I think they must have shown that they are committed, they've been there longer, and they are good performers. Choosing the candidate with high potential as well as a good performance record in the past helps to reward the employee for his hard work and commitment. That's what I'm saying. When an employee is committed, they stayed with you for 4 years, and they are performing very well, they're giving you their best, then they also need to see your commitment and reward that you, and especially promotion and that recognition that, oh, you mean these people, you mean my boss sees what I do. I've been here for 4 years, I've delivered this and this. You mean they see it. So when you choose them for mentorship for a higher role, it actually tells them that you have seen them, you have appreciated, you've recognized them, and you're rewarding them. So it actually even builds their loyalty to the employer. Duties and responsibilities. Mentors must consider the duties and responsibilities of the job for which growth planning is taking place. The mentee must meet the demands of the job. So please don't pick people because you like them. Pick them because they are capable. They are able to handle those duties and responsibilities. Yesterday, I mentioned something like promoting people for failure. Do not promote people for failure. If they can't hack the job, if they are not ready for it, if they are not capable to handle that role, please do not push them into that role. You can build on them, you can improve their skills, you can give them time for that, but make sure that as you move someone to a certain role, make sure you're not also promoting them for failure if they are not ready, if they are not able to handle, especially leadership positions. Leadership is tough. It's not for the faint-hearted, I say. So you need to grow their muscle for leadership. And if you see that they're not able to lead a team, if they can't lead 1 or 2 people, then you have no business bringing them so fast to lead a whole department. Let's just consider where, where the person is. Qualifications, the mentor should consider the qualifications of the candidate before shortlisting for growth, as the qualification should be suitable to meet the capabilities of the job. And I think that's really common sense. Check what the person is qualified in. You can't give me a tech job and I have never done that. I've never studied that, or I've never even worked in that department. So let's consider the qualifications. So does the mentee need any training? Decision-making for the development of a mentee, you need to check if the mentee needs any training. What strategic goals of the organization should the mentee meet? Now, remember that your eyes as your mentor, your eyes and your entire focus must be on the strategic goals of the organization. So as you choose the mentors, the mentees, even the choosing of the mentors, there must have been a focus on the goals of the organization. Now, as you choose the mentees, and as you design the program for mentorship, keep your eyes on the organization goals. As you set your plans, your development plans with your mentees, keep your eyes on the goals of the organization. That's why I say it is important for leaders to understand where the business is going, which direction, so that all of you are mentoring different people, you meet them at different times, you will have different conversations, but should your mentee meet my mentee, then they should be speaking the same language. They should be talking about where the business is going. They should be talking about maybe the expansion of the business, whatever plans are there. All of them are going in one direction. Then what tasks should the mentee complete to achieve the goals, the behavior that is necessary to achieve these goals, and the deficiencies, if any, that the mentee has in terms of skills. Development tools, I think we mentioned tools yesterday, on the job, training and education, learning from others. Now, on the job, as a tool, is a job enrichment. You can have them get engaged in special projects, that's what I said. Committee assignments, learn to just give them assignments bit by bit, and especially when you know they are ready. Sorry, task force participation, lead person responsibility, because when you begin to give the person that seat where they can lead, but make sure as you allow them to lead, you're watching. Don't delegate, but still be in control. So that, because when things go wrong, it is still you that is answerable. Then allow them to give presentations, build their presentation skills, build the skills that they need. Look at the areas, the gaps that you need to develop them. If it is presentation skills, do that for them. You also recommend trainings for them. Allow your mentees, as you keep engaging with them, allow them to go for training, so that it polishes them up. If there's a gap that they have, identify that training. If the organization is able to do that, let that be the training that is done to prepare them. Allow them to prepare proposals. Installing a new system, involve them in that. Involve them on the job. When you're installing a system, just have them there. Don't just go do it and you're expecting them to do it maybe in another 1 year or so. Just get them there. Leading a new program, temporary job assignments, full job charge. Just allow them to be hands-on. Training and education is another tool. Allow them into seminars, conferences, continuing education. For that, e-learning, cross training and all that. Get them involved, learning from others, working with a mentor, teaming with an expert as well. You can, if it's engineering and you're mentoring somebody, then it is also good for you. As I said, sometimes I carry my mentees. You can carry, if you're meeting someone, you can carry a mentee to meet some of the people that you also in your circles, experts in your circles. Let them also hear from others. So sometimes they've heard from you, and when they hear the same thing from somebody else, even who is external sometimes, they're like, oh, okay, then this is it. If this is what my mentor has been telling me, and I hear them discuss the same with other people that are respected in the industry for that, then this is it. Feedback from the coach or mentor, focused interviews, you can have that. The 4 levels for learning, I think motivated, self-development, on-the-job experience. We've talked about training and the verbal mentoring or coaching. Now, tip, you should use the following flow of stages to teach any concept. And I think we spoke about this. Explain the idea or concept information to your mentee. Then demonstrate the idea, concept, or information through examples, case studies, role plays. Then work with a process together with the employee or the mentee, and then allow them. So you explain to someone, if I'm telling you to do this, I will explain to you how it's done and why it is important for us to do it. Because sometimes we tell people to do things and we don't explain to them why they're doing it. Let your mentee understand why I cannot skip this stage of something. If you're an engineer, explain to them that if you skip this stage, it looks simple, but if you skip it, then this is what could happen. These are the possible results. So explain and let them understand the flow of the stages of something. This, when we need to install this, we start from here, we remove this, we adjust this, we clear all this and this. Just explain to them like they don't know. And then demonstrate the idea yourself as they watch. Then work through a process together. Tell them, let's do it together. Let me see, so that you're able to correct. If they skip a step, say no. You remember when I explained, I said this is what is done. We follow this process. That way, you're making sure there are no shortcuts, and you're making sure that it gets into their systems that this is how things are done. And then finally, you can allow them to do it, to work through the same process independently once you're sure and you're confident that they can do it. Role of learning and development in mentoring. I think these are the things we've said all through. In today's competitive world, it is crucial that mentors help mentees to build competences that will provide them with a competitive advantage. I think basically that's what you're doing. You're positioning the person to be more competitive than the others. So it is the same. Today's world is an era of knowledge. Someone that needs to mute there. Today's world is an era of knowledge. Just help me with that, Waroi. Just communicate to them. Knowledge where human beings are valued greatly as high value assets. So we are assets and because we have the information and we have the solutions. Now in organizations that are continually growing and evolving, learning and development programs help mentees to provide the much needed responses to changing environment. So keep learning, you know, and then this is all about learning and development. I think learning and development, it plays a pivotal role in the continuous learning process that is required for the mentee. It helps to hone the skills of the person. It's an integral part of the growth plan in the mentoring process. Learning and development, as you continue to raise the mentees and to talk to them, remember that it is a learning process. They are learning from you. They are going to school to learn where it's needed and all that. Aim of learning and development, there should be a change sorry, in the attitude of mentees. You need to observe if their attitude is changing, because the mentee needs to change their attitude towards work, towards results, towards leadership, towards the organization in the positive direction. So you need to keep an eye on that. Mentees should acquire knowledge. Training should improve the performance. It should help the mentees put theory into practice. We've talked about this all through. And training should evaluate abilities and competencies of the mentees, enhance problem solving and decision making. Learning and development helps new mentees in the organization in attaining the role clarity. So make sure that they understand before you position them in that new role, that they need to understand the impact, especially what is required and how that role contributes to the entire organization. I think that's where the problem is. Sometimes people don't understand. If you ask people, how does your role as the head of this department, how does this role contribute to the entire organization? People struggle to explain that, but that person must understand without dragging other roles into it. The person must know that I am in HR, I manage people, I manage talent, I make sure that people are developed, I make sure that their output is good, I make sure that their staff are motivated, I ensure that the employer brand is maintained through retention, you know, and reducing the percentages of exit. I make sure that the cost is controlled. So the person should be able to explain to you how their role fits into the overall organizational goal. So it also helps mentees to grow and achieve the promotions they require, and helps build them, of course, the quality and productivity of the mentees. It improves and helps meet the organizational objectives. That's what I've just said. It helps to also enhance their performance all the way. It's all about learning and development is an investment, and it's really costly. So when you're recommending and you're choosing your mentees, remember it's a huge investment for the business. So choose the right people and make sure that there's a return on investment. We use the ROI so much, but just make sure when you're choosing your mentees, because there's actually an investment in the mentors right now and the coaches, and there's an investment in you, there's an investment in the mentees, and the return on investment done yesterday, today, and what you will also put into the mentees needs to be measured by the organization. There has to be a return on investment, which is in performance, it is in the branding, it is the company overall, you know, for them to achieve their goals. There are things that the organization is looking at achieving by investing in this whole mentorship program. So these are things we spoke about yesterday: criteria for evaluation. We talked about results, objectives of the program, areas of improvement, organization goals must be met, cost benefit analysis. So that needs to be done so that you understand how much you're investing and how much you're expecting. Improvement of performance is expected. Individual goals needs to be met, and then there needs to be transfer of learning to the mentees and all the other teams. Evaluation of mentee performance, various methods that you can use for the evaluation of mentees and their performance. The projects, you can do the projects we've talked about. The tests are just questions, the same as questionnaires, or like a CAT. You can do that to evaluate the performance of someone that is not muted. You can have observations and interviews. You can have discussions so that you're able to evaluate their performance. Use feedback of participants, interviews and feedback, quizzes and all that. I think at the end, as we finish, let's talk about importance of self-confidence for a mentor. Now, an important trait that the mentor should possess is self-confidence. Now, if you're not confident as a mentor, as a coach, people will detect it. Your mentees will detect it. Your mentees will see it, and they will even hear it. It's just like in training. If you're not confident of what you say, remember, you're going to stand up as a leader. You're going to stand up as the voice of the organization. You're going to stand up as a resource person. So something you need to build before you begin this process is self-confidence. So you need to know what can be done. Self-confidence is a belief that you can successfully perform a desired behavior. Now, a self-confident mentor will feel capable of and will be able to successfully handle a diverse group of mentees trying to reach a common goal of learning new things and growing. Self-confidence can be built by never getting negative about yourself. Now, speak to yourself positive things as a mentor and build your confidence. And that's what I said, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself as a mentor so that you have the knowledge, you have the skills before you face the people. I see a hand raised. Someone's raised?
Yes.
Radio Prod, yes.
No, I'm not that one you're reading. My name is Martin.
It's showing, oh, that's another hand.
No, it's mine. Yes,
Oh,
but
cool.
it's because I'm operating from a radio production area.
Oh, okay, cool.
Kitu nilikuwa nataka kuuliza, does mentoring restrict itself to the workplace or it can go beyond? I may have missed on this because I stepped out a little bit earlier. Perhaps you addressed it, but does mentoring restrict itself to the workplace ama tunaweza tuka mentor mpaka kwa jikoni huko nyumbani?
You can mentor people.
Huyo ofisa ambaye anafanya kazi chini yangu, naweza pia kumwelekeza mpaka mambo yake ya kibinafsi?
You can choose where to mentor. Of course, for this purpose, it is for the workplace, but there are areas that you can mentor people in outside work. And the principles are just basically the same. They're just the same. It depends on where. You just need to switch.
No, I'm asking for this context. For this context, hapa hii process ambayo tunafanya. Is it
Is it for?
Do we also include ile ya nyumbani? Do we also include it katika hii process yetu hapa kazini kwamba yes, I'm your mentor, but I want to go a little bit beyond where we are because the issues that you go through at home ndio zinadumaza kazi zako hapa ofisini. So let us get into the deep end of what you go through in your kitchen. Tuanzie huko ndio tukuje tumalizie hapa. Is it permissible?
I think I want to help you because you will go too far. You know, you will get distracted, yeah? People have so many things. There's nothing wrong with understanding where I'm coming from, but there's a level, there's a limit to how far you should go into my life. I can imagine if you have a whole team of 5 people and they all have a baggage of things, you know. I think the only areas that you need to step into are areas that are affecting work-related areas. You can. The rest, I would advise that you let them have counselors. If they have issues that are affecting workplace, it's the same for HR. There are things that I can't handle for an employee. When it comes to them fighting with a spouse, then I will send you to a counselor. You know, I don't want to go to some extent because that's really not my core business. I may be a friend, but I think it would distract me from my core business. The reason you're doing this one is purposely for work, and the things that affect work, some of them you might also not, you might even see them yourself and you may not be able to handle them. So you need to direct that person to either a counselor that is attached to the workplace. You have medical covers that also can give have those services. I know nowadays they have, if someone, let's say someone is a drug addict and you're mentoring them, are you able to handle that? You can't. It's affecting their work, yes, but you might not be able to. So what you do is that now you hand that over to somebody else that is professional to help them so that you align them and bring them back to a state where they can get what you're saying and work. I hope that helps, because you will then go to so many things. People have a lot of baggage. People will tell you everything. You will shift your focus on mentoring me for a specific role. That's why we are very specific. You're raising me for a role, but then if you spot an issue with a person that could hinder them to get into the position you want, then identify the right people that could help you in that. If it's a counselor, fine. If it is somebody else that can help, talk to the person, professional help that you were not able to offer, then advise the organization that I am handling this person, and out of this, I've discovered that either the person, let's just say openly, someone may have been sexually abused and it affects or even emotionally or physically abused, and it's affecting their confidence and their performance. However, they are very good people, but this we need to deal with. So then at that point, you engage a professional in that level, and for you, you only do to the extent that you can do. So that professional will handle that bit, you handle this bit, combination of the two will bring the person to where you expect them to be. Does that answer? Does that help you?
Yes, it does. That mambo ya huyu mentee ya bedroom na kitchen sitahusisha na mentoring process ya ofisini. Kwamba nitatenganisha hayo mawili.
Yes, if it's affecting them at work, you may have a responsibility to just direct them to the right people. And or as a leader, if you have an employee assistance program, there's something called an employee assistance program. Maybe you have partners like your insurance, the Chiromos and the others, then you can refer. I have seen people that are mentoring others and you see this one has an issue with alcohol. Now, I don't think everyone is ready to handle that. So what you do
Esther,
is now, yes?
but it doesn't break a bond if the mentee opens up to me as a mentor in the office, opens up and wants to be assisted, it doesn't break a bond.
No, it doesn't. When they do, when they open up and you can't handle it, that's what I'm saying, then give it to a professional. It doesn't mean you've stopped mentoring. You continue mentoring in the direction. You're actually just trying to, you're mending the person in different parts. You know, you've discovered that I am mentoring Esther for this role, but there's something that keeps dragging Esther back, you know, and Esther has come and said, I am not having a good relationship or something has happened to me or I'm going through this phase. Now, if you're a professional in that field, you can do it. But if you're not, then you can bring in another professional so that you are doing the career side and the other professional is helping you. It's like panel beating and then you get a person in shape. That's fine. It's perfect and it's important for you because those things will come out. They will come out, especially as you continue to bond. They will tell you and you will discover something is holding up this person. You have potential, but there seems to be something dragging you back. So they can open up and as a friend now and as a confidant, you could request if you can engage. Now, don't engage a professional to come and counsel someone if that person has not given you permission to do it. Because you need to get, the person needs to be open and ready to share their issues. They need to give you permission to bring somebody else into the picture. When they open up to you, it's confidential. So even if you go and say it to a counselor, it is, you have broken that. So you need to ask them, is it okay for me to get you a counselor, a professional to help you in this? They need to accept. You just can't go and say, hey, I've discovered I've been talking to Esther or to Jane or to who, and they have this issue come in. So they just find someone sitting in a meeting and they're saying, oh, I was told you have this issue. No. Now that person will lose trust in you. So you have to consult them and say, this could be hindering you. You're a good performer. And I see you will, I'm preparing you for this role, but this looks like it will pull you back. Are you ready for help? And they could say yes, or wait until I tell you when I'm ready. So it's important for you to get that permission from them as well. So let's look at this. And I want you to follow me so closely as we read this. It's just an example. Matt has been mentoring several new hires when they join his organization. Now, follow me because I will expect you to be engaged on the chat. So Matt Damalt has been mentoring several new hires when they join his organization. In fact, Matt has grown from the position of a manager to a managing director, but he still mentors and coaches people. Many of Matt's mentees have grown to higher positions and climbed up the corporate ladder at a fast pace. All his mentees vouch for the fact that Matt is a charismatic mentor. He is simple, down to earth, and yet is extremely self-confident. In spite of being a great performer, Matt listens to all his mentees' problems with a patient ear and helps them discover their own solutions. Matt also tries to understand the culture, strengths, and weaknesses of his mentees and offers unique solutions to each. One of the reasons for Matt's success as a mentor is because he customizes his mentoring process and tweaks it as per the mentee's attitude and aptitude levels. Many people have benefited from Matt's expert guidance and his understanding of interpersonal relations, which helps his mentees to bond and network well with others. Matt, on a personal level, loves mentoring others and watch them grow under his guidance and to help people reach their goals and achieve their dreams. So, with that in mind, tell me on the chat, what have you learned from Matt on mentorship? Let's engage on the chat. I was quite slow and I wanted to keep reading that. What have you picked? What have you picked from him? Do you want us to go through it again? Or you've picked? What lesson have you picked from him? Let's engage on the chat. I'm on the chat and I'm not seeing them flowing. I can go through it again if you want me to.
Go through it again, kindly.
Yes. I can go through this. I am willing and obedient to do it. Good. So Matt has, sorry, let me just go through this. Good. So Matt has been mentoring several new hires when they join his organization. Is that the first bit? I want to see where I am. Yes. So he's been mentoring several new hires when they join his organization. In fact, Matt has grown from the position of manager to a managing director. You pick your lessons, then we will share. Position of manager to a managing director, but he still mentors and coaches people. Let me give you the secret. As you learn a lesson from every slide, you can type it in so that it sticks. We are learning, it's adult learning. So in fact, Matt has grown from the position of a manager to a managing director, but he still mentors and coaches people. Now, many of Matt's mentees have grown to higher position and climbed up the corporate ladder to at a fast pace. Now, all his mentees vouch for the fact that Matt is a charismatic mentor. He is simple, down to earth, and yet is extremely self-confident. So we are picking the lessons that we are learning from him. He is simple, down to earth, and yet is extremely self-confident. In spite of being a great performer, Matt listens to all his mentees' problems with a patient ear and helps them to discover their own solutions. Matt also tries to understand the culture, strengths, and weaknesses of each of his mentees and offers unique solutions to each. One of the reasons for Matt's success as a mentor is because he customizes his mentoring process and tweaks it as per the mentee's attitude and aptitude levels. Many people have benefited from Matt's expert guidance and his understanding of interpersonal relations, which helps his mentees to bond and network well with others. Matt, on a personal level, loves mentoring others and watch them grow under his guidance and to help people reach their goals and achieve their dreams. So tell me, let me see. I see we've put in quite a lot. Yes, I see a lot here. He listens, his mentees, he is not mentoring others to take over from him. Matt offers different solutions, simple and down to earth, yet self-confident. Good listener should custom each approach based on individual mentees. Even counseling is for normal people who need support to deal with an issue. Yeah, Matt is confident, he's patient. The golden rule: in mentorship, you tweak your approach according to the type of person you're mentoring. Yes, despite the fact that he has grown in position, he's still keen to mentor others, self-confident, listener, confident, and all that. And I see you've learned, you've picked it. And it's really much of a summary of what we are learning, you know. Characteristics of a good mentor, I think that is what we have talked about, constantly improving yourself by learning from every interaction, begins with end in mind and decides the outcome of the coaching first. Decide where you're going before you can start. Decide so that you're not distracted. You see, they say if you're going nowhere, anywhere is your destination. Any place is your destination. So if you just decide to start driving and you're going nowhere, even where you stop at the traffic lights is your destination, because you are definitely going nowhere. So if you don't define where you're going with your mentee, any place is a destination. So try and define, put first things first, prioritizing what is important, create cooperative environment. We've talked about this, is proactive to take responsibility, seek to first listen and then understand. Now, the mentor must really be a good listener. Sometimes we are very quick to talk. We're very quick to talk because we are the ones with the information, but it's also good to listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. So that's where the problem, sometimes we already have an answer. We are listening to respond. We are not listening to understand. Listen to understand, then you can respond. Then think a win-win and seek solution for your mentee and the company. So think of a win-win situation. Characteristics of a good coach or mentee: common purpose, clarity of role and responsibility. We've talked about this once, that the mentee must also be able to understand their role. They have solid relationships, effective communication. Tips for better mentoring: think about your mentee first. Don't mix your personal issues with your professional. Now, something just crossed my mind on this one as we were talking about and going beyond the workplace. For that question that we were talking, please don't overload yourself with people's personal issues. Let professionals deal with the issues. It can emotionally drain you. Remember, as a mentor, you still have your job description, you have your title, you have your KPIs, you have your teams, and then you have a mentee. So that which is not for you, don't overload yourself emotionally, otherwise it will affect your performance. Oh, Carol. Oh, some people have decided. Whatever. Let me see. Yeah, I think I can mute that one. So don't overload yourself emotionally, because remember, as a mentor, you're here, and a coach, you still have your job. You've not relinquished your role. You have your role. Number one, you have your family, you have your personal life, you have your job, and the job comes with KPIs, expectations, and all that, and it's pressure, and then we are putting on you again a mentor role. So things that you don't have to handle, like those counseling sessions, let the professionals do it. So don't overload yourself emotionally, so that it also doesn't affect your performance. Now you're a mentor and you're also being summoned for performance, and the reason is the mentee or the mentees that came into your life seem to carry so much of your time and your emotional energy. So just know where to draw the line. So think about your mentee first. Don't mix your personal issues with your professional life. Never underestimate your mentee. Never try to impose your ideas on any member. Discuss new ideas with the mentee. For better results, try to understand your mentee very well. Promote transparency. Transparency must be maintained, and healthy interaction must be promoted among the mentees. A healthy interaction. So just make sure you maintain the respect and a very healthy interaction. No shouting, no deep personal issues there, because some things that you also share could could really affect that interaction and the relationship. Avoid criticism, avoid negativity within the coach or mentee relationship. It's okay to correct people and give feedback, but don't be the person that carries negative energy and negative criticism. Constructive criticism, yes, but check on the others. Avoid conflict in your coach mentee. Don't fight over petty issues. You are the leader here, you are the adult here, you are the coach, you are the campus here. So you can see petty issues, so avoid them and handle them with maturity, because what is expected of you is to exhibit maturity. And don't be a fault finder. There are people who are just fault finders. They will find fault in everything. Even when someone has done excellently, they will still find fault. Learn to see the good in other people and what they do. Reward and recognition. Appreciate the mentee who perform the best or does something unique. And this doesn't mean, it doesn't have to be money. Recognition even in the teams, and say, we want to appreciate so-and-so. He went out of his way, and yesterday this is what he did. We want to appreciate another person. Then don't let it be just that one person that you appreciate, but learn to appreciate. I said yesterday, recognize, reward in public, correct or admonish in private. It works miracles. So practice, I think this is a different one. Let's just keep this because it's so Michael Stark is a new employee who has joined Globus. This is Michael's first job, and he's completely new to the corporate environment. How can the coach or mentor program at Globus help gain the confidence he needs to be an efficient employee? Who can give me an answer to this very briefly? There's a new person that has joined KBC. Let's come home. Let's bring it home now. And this is Michael's first job in corporate environment. And maybe you're given, like when we started, we had Rachel who was given the letter. You remember the email that was sent, welcome to this organization, welcome to KBC. So Joseph will be your mentor. So how can that person help build that confidence in that person, in a word or two, just in the interest of time? How do you work that? And what are the key aspects of coaching that you as a coach should take care when coaching Michael? We can have someone that can answer that. You have a new employee that has joined, and we've given that employee to you. How do you help them build their confidence, and what aspects would you be looking at? Anyone that would be willing to speak? Josephine, yes.
I think in this situation, when Michael, this is the first assignment, this is the first job. First and foremost, I would make Michael feel appreciated by the fact that I am not coming to build his capacity, but to enhance his capacity. Because building would mean there's totally nothing, so I'm coming to create it. But Michael, having even been chosen to come, means he has some capabilities, he has some skills. So maybe putting it in practice was what was missing. So making him feel that we are only here to enhance whatever he already has, that will give him the confidence that he is in the right place and he is appreciated.
Wow, perfect. I like that. I just wanted to see, at least we are together and we have picked a lot from what we have learned. So in summary, the following should be done to mentor someone: engage the mentee, build a rapport with them, set the strategy and communication tone, go over objectives and growth plan, review the correct performance. The various responsibilities a mentor has to fulfill is creating and managing diversity. I think we did this yesterday, just in summary. turning individuals into team players, quality management, enhancing performance, innovation, and to motivate. Now, look at the customer. Mentors should measure the following: customer perspective, financial, regulatory perspective, internal perspective, learning and growth. Some expectations that mentee has from the mentor is capability, just like you have said, Josephine, improvement, politeness, guidance and support. We did this role model, open communication, liberty and equality, fair treatment, connect on a personal level. Now, this is just for you and nothing much. I think we are almost at the end. Actually, we are closing. We are finishing. I need to let you go by the time that was allocated. Coaching is to give someone professional advice on how to attain their goals or what to do or say in a particular situation. Criteria, the basis of comparison. I think this is something you know very well. Factor. This is just a glossary. I don't think the feedback is a critical assessment in this concept. And I think we are good to go for this. And all I can say is congratulations, everybody. You have successfully completed the module on coaching and mentoring skills. Congratulations. That's it from us, unless we have something to say. I think we are right on time at 11:04. Any comments, questions? We are open. Yes, Silas, good. Congratulations, Joanne, thank you. I can stop sharing and now begin to, yes. Wow. Congratulations, everybody. Any comments, anything that you want us to clarify? I know Dan is working behind the scenes to make sure you get the material, you get to access this. So the question I didn't answer, which one is that? Silas, Kirago, unmute. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, thank you, everybody. I hope you learned. Which question is that I didn't answer, Silas? Before I go, I don't want to leave you saying she did not answer one question. Thank you so much for the presentation. Be blessed. Thank you for the training. It was insightful. Santeni sana. How to draw a line between difficult person and a person.
I have a question, Katiba.
Yes. Warui.
O'Brien, yes.
Who is speaking? Warui is, I think we need to mute somebody here. 1 minute. Mr. Naomi, I need to mute. So it's who is speaking?
O'Brien. Kimani.
The Warui is different. So I can mute Warui.
No, Warui
you're the same one.
part of me. It's
Oh, the part of it. There's another one. Josephine, are you speaking, Josephine? Oh, I can mute you.
Yeah, I was saying, I think it's O'Brien's background that is noisy. I don't know whether you can move to a quieter place.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. So that's okay. You can ask that. Ask that. But can I first answer as you move to a place? I can see I was asked a question there on how to draw that line. Yeah.
Thirdly, don't worry, newsroom to advise Mr. Brian to unmute. He's in newsroom and
tell him I'll visit him there. Very soon. It's okay.
Dickens, newsroom is the situation room where critical decisions are made on the news. So you expect a lot of noise, but we are trying to manage the noise. Am I clear now?
Yes.
Please. Okay.
That's okay. I can hear you. That's fine. Yes.
So what I wanted to ask is, so where do the mentors go from here?
Where do the mentors go from here? Now you move into, I think that was answered by your leader, said, and I think he must be here. And he said there's going to be some documentation shared with you. You would sign that. You definitely need this, this material and the rest. And then the selection, I don't know whether you have done that. That is internal. We've empowered you. We are willing as ACHRP to keep refreshing this and to keep, I know Okoth will answer that question later. I'll give you that, Okoth, because I know you know where to take them from here. I'll give you the opportunity to take them from here, but ACHRP is more than willing to keep refreshing this, to keep having a conversation with you so that we get the best out of you. We also want you to be the best mentors and the best coaches. So from our end as ACHRP, we are willing to continue the engagement. To answer Kirago, drawing the line between difficult person and a person taking a stand based on their values, I think it's a negativity, it's a negative energy that the person brings in. A difficult person can really injects some negative energy. Now, a person that takes a stand based on their values is not always a difficult person, because I think you need to sit with them and know that if you're guiding me in the right direction, then we shouldn't have an issue with my values.
Madam Esther, please. Madam Esther, please.
Yes.
Madam Esther, please.
Yes.
Can somebody in this room come at the reso to advise Mr. Brian Kimani to unmute his system? Kindly.
Or I can even mute him actually from my end.
Yes. Kindly, because I think I'm not unmute. Thank you.
Let me check if I can see him. Oh, he's muted because I don't see. I only see Agri. Agri, you can put off your camera. That's the only one I see now. I think then we are okay now. It's only Agri that wants this. It's taking us through a tour.
Yes,
so
Mr. Agri and Mr. Agri and Brian, they are in the same desk. They are in the same room, so they can...
they've muted. They are good students. They've muted. Yeah. So I think we were talking about what? Difficult person. A difficult person really drains your energy. You can tell. There's a line, and what you need to do is, you remember we said you need to be firm. You're the leader. My Agri is back. Let me mute him. Don't worry. I'll mute him from here.
Where they see?
I'll mute him. Yes, from here. No worries. So I said previously that as a mentor and coach, you're the leader. Now, you need to put your foot down as a leader. There are things you will take and there are things you will not take as a leader. So if you see it's moving towards people being difficult and being unreceptive, then you need to put your foot down and let your voice be heard. So as you even gel with them, as you speak to the mentees, as you bond with them, as you go for coffee, remember to draw your line as a leader as well. So it is for you, the final word and the final command comes from you, because those are your mentees, those are people under you. So you need to take your position and exercise your authority. So I think that is where you need to draw it. And if someone is not receptive, they're becoming difficult, they're making it very hard for you, then I think you always have a next level and say, I have tried mentoring Esther, it's getting difficult and she's draining everybody else, she's pulling us down, she's injecting negative energy. I have tried to do this, I've had a private conversation, we've documented this, then I think now that's a person that may not be ready for it. It is okay for you to release that person and continue with the people that are willing to learn. It gets to that point. It's just like an employee. It gets to a place where you can separate. I think if someone is not willing and they're giving you a difficult time, they're draining you, they're misleading the other people. I think with all the evidence and you've tried everything possible to do it and it's not working, you've gone to your other leaders and expressed your concern, then you can just pull that person off the program. Continue with people that are willing to proceed, because even if you mentor that person for a role up there, they might become a problem to the entire organization. So some things that project are things that you might need to deal with, and maybe pull them off, but try whatever you can. If it's not working, I think it's important for you to just, maybe that person is not ready for it. Yeah, so you can just pull that. I think that gives an answer, isn't it? Silas, does that answer you? That was
Yes,
from
madam.
Silas.
Yes,
Yeah,
madam.
yeah. If someone is difficult, you've done everything you can. Perfect. Just put them on the side. Proceed with people who are willing to grow and people that are positive, because they would drain you, they would distract you, they would distract the others or mislead the others. Just put them on the side, as long as you can show that you did everything possible. So I think, thanks for the training. Share your mobile number. Dan, you're on the call. I know Dan is on the call.
I'm there.
Yes. You share the number kindly. We can you can always reach me through Dan. We are one SHRP. So once you get Dan, you have Esther. Thank you so much. We had an enriching session. Thank you. I think I'll give it over to Dan. You want me to give you, or I know Okoth wanted to say something. I can give Okoth and then I give you Dan to close it, to wrap it up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yes, Okoth, thank you. You can
But,
have
before Mr. Okoth,
yeah.
maybe let me welcome Mr. Okoth.
Thank you, thank
And,
you. But thank you, everybody. I'll give you over to my colleague, Dan. Asanteni sana for your time. Thank you. There is a number. Thank you. Over to you, Dan.
Hi. Good evening. Good afternoon. No, this is morning still. Esther, thank you very much. You've taken us through some very wonderful training to the point that I almost thought it is afternoon. So allow me to say that to the team from Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, we've been delighted to have you for the past 2 days through this particular training on HR mentorship skills. It is a course that we've uploaded on your portal. Everyone, the 44 of you, we've also done the recording for this particular training. So by the end of the day, you will be able to access your learning materials, not only now, but in future. We look forward to working with you in this journey of training, and so that we can explore. There is so much to learn, and I'm very grateful to Mr. Dan Okoth and Daniel, and also Jane. You've been a wonderful team from KBC. So thank you very much. Allow me to welcome Mr. Dan. I'll continue with what I was doing on the chat. I'll share with you how to log into your portal in order to access your certificate for today's training. Thank you very much. You will use your work email to access that portal. Then you can note down somewhere that the password for all of you is HR 2021. But again, as I've said, I'll share that on the chat. Thank you very much. Welcome, Mr. Dan. You will unmute.
Good morning. I would like to take just a few minutes to highlight a few issues, particularly what I covered yesterday for the benefit of those who are not present. First, The corporation, through the board of directors, signed the performance contracting agreement with the government through the parent Ministry of Information, Communications, and the Digital Economy. Through that agreement, the corporation committed itself to enhance performance through various interventions, which includes training and development, capacity building, counseling services, and also mentorship and coaching programs. So as a way of implementing that, the corporation approved the mentorship and coaching policy effective from July 2022. Now, in order to roll out that program, we requested the HODs to nominate mentors and coaches within their various departments. As a result, we were able to consolidate the list. So far, we have a total of 44 nominated mentors and coaches. Now, we felt that it was good enough for us to go through this training to acquire the basic mentorship skills and also develop our aptitude in order to be well placed to discharge that role. So we picked this training, which we felt was good enough to drive us to where we wanted to go. And we are happy with the SCHRP and also the facilitator, Madam Esther, for what we have been taken through the 2 days. We intend to call the mentors and the coaches for an induction meeting in the next few days, where we will agree on the roadmap. So the induction meeting will be a physical meeting outside BH, and we'll come up with a template on how to set the strategies, goals, and objectives, how to plan for the actions and the approaches which we have learned. And we'll also agree on the progress review sessions, as well as the corrective performance sessions. We'll also include a provision to capture recommendations for improvement within the templates. So what we are saying is the process is a win-win exercise from both the side of the management, the mentors and coaches, as well as the mentees. Now, after the induction meeting, then we'll confirm to you the names of those who have volunteered to be mentored or to be taken through mentorship. So that is started, but we'll come up with the final list, which we'll share with you so that we move on and drive the process. Now, this exercise, as you have seen, requires that we improve our self-confidence. And as mentors, we are also supposed to inject self-confidence and self-esteem on the side of the mentees. This will enable them actually to realize their career growth. And even as mentees, it provides us with an opportunity to develop our personal skills in various ways, as mentors, as coaches, as trainers. So I would like to request that we embrace a culture of continuous improvement going forward, and also to build that trust between ourselves and also the mentees who will come on board. So far, I'm glad that all of us have managed to pass the exams, although they were not written fully. And we are happy to confirm to you that the MD assigned your formal appointment letters, which you'll receive today. So having said that, I would like to thank all the participants, SCHRP, and our facilitator, Madam Esther. We could have done, a very good physical acknowledgement, but still, please receive our hearty appreciation. You have done your part well, and we do appreciate. From the chat and also from the logging, I've seen various departments being represented: television, editorial, HR, ICT, technical services, MCPRD, corporate communication, radio, procurement, legal, finance, and admin, CPRD, special strategy and special projects, Western region, and Coast region. So I would like to thank all the participants. Thank you. Now, as I conclude, let me invite Jane maybe to cover any administrative issues which I may have left. Jane, please come on board. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Good morning, everyone. I don't think I have much to say. Thank you to ACHRP for the good training. Thank you, Esther. We've really learned a lot. And for the mentors and coaches, please let us put what we've learned into practice. It is something new in the corporation, but I believe as we work as a team, we are going to achieve it. Don't think I have much to say. Thank you.
Back to you, Esther. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I think we close. Thank you for the partnership.
Thank you for the opportunity to serve. We look forward to our fruitful engagement and conversations going forward. Otherwise, highly appreciated. Thank you.